Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Authorities at the Grand Forks Air Force Base are giving the all clear this evening after finding a suspicious package on base early today. Officials say the package was found at about 2 this afternoon on base near the 319th Communications Squadron, Building 314. As a precaution, base officials cordoned off the area and evacuated people from the building and surrounding facilities. First responders and a team that disposes of explosives were investigating the incident. They determined the package was not dangerous and alerted everyone late this afternoon. The floodwaters might be going down, but the danger level is not. Grand Forks authorities are stressing the importance of safety after saving a 19-year-old on the Red River. He was rescued from a log after his kayak capsized last night. As Valley News Team's Maddie Gelseth found out, some people appear more than willing to take their chances on the water.
Cabela's in East Grand Forks is getting ready for a busy spring and summer season.
Now that the snow's melted, it's finally starting to pick up, so getting some nicer weather.
But due to the river flooding, people aren't able to use those kayaks, paddleboards, or canoes quite yet because the river is closed for public use.
With the river flooding and everything, obviously if everyone's getting excited to have the kayaks and canoes, just make sure you stay off the river with the flooding, and once it goes down, you'll be ready to go.
The newness of the water levels attracts people, and they're going to want to go out and check on the water levels and see things firsthand, thinking that they can handle it and do things that other people probably can't.
And that's because Sergeant McLean says the water current is a lot stronger and unpredictable than what it appears. And that's not all.
Water temperature is probably still just above freezing, 35 degrees. So again, if you go into the water, you fall in, you can get hypothermia in a very short amount of time.
Even if you think you're an experienced kayaker, Sergeant McLean says having experience wouldn't do anything in these waters.
You're going to get exhausted in a very short amount of time, which at that point then the water and the current can overtake you.
Since the river is closed to the public at this time, it's a $100 fine if you're caught on it. In Grand Forks, Maddie Gelseth, Valley News Live.
Authorities add it's rare for them to have to save someone who's out on the river. The man accused of throwing a 5-year-old over a balcony at the Mall of America made his first court appearance today. A criminal complaint says 24-year-old Emmanuel Aranda approached the 5-year-old boy without warning, picked him up and threw him off the balcony on Friday. First responders indicated the child had multiple fractured bones, was bleeding from his head, and suffered massive head trauma. Aranda is charged with first-degree attempted murder in the incident. His bail is set at $2 million with conditions, including no contact with the family, witnesses, or anyone under 18, and a requirement that he stay 3 blocks away from the mall. Aranda will be back in court on May 14th. Officials say the 5-year-old boy is still in critical condition. Grand Forks police have arrested 2 men after they allegedly entered a woman's apartment without permission. Court documents state police got a call for criminal trespass on Saturday. When officers got to the woman's apartment, they found 21-year-old John Armand in only his underwear and T-shirt and 25-year-old Cody Newmiller hiding behind a truck just a block away. The woman told police the 2 men were standing over her bed and not wearing pants. Newmiller and Armand were charged with burglary for entering her home. Newmiller may also face a charge of indecent exposure. A man from Frazee, Minnesota is now recovering after police say he accidentally shot himself in the leg. It happened Sunday afternoon. Deputies with the Becker County Sheriff's Department say 60-year-old Lloyd Burtek was trying to decock the hammer of his pistol when it went off and into his leg. Burtek was eventually flown to a Fargo hospital with what were believed to be non-life-threatening injuries. Finally, we're getting some great spring weather, but Hutch, it looks like it could get a little soggy this evening for some of us.
Yeah, things are going to change, but what a wonderful spring-like day as the sun came out early and we melted a lot of snow across the valley. High temperatures reached the 60s for a lot of us. Now notice Wahpeton, Breckenridge stuck in the 50s, but a lot more snow fell with our blizzard as that continues to melt away. 64 in Grand Forks. There's the rain that you were speaking of, Andrea. It's heading into Bismarck. Some in our western counties will have a chance at seeing that as we go through the late evening. Rivers are rising in the Southern Valley with all of the melting going on, and a crest is expected at Wahpeton as we go through the weekend. Second crest at Mapleton is heading up as well. And we are expecting the same in Fargo, but up to the north in Grand Forks, a rise is also expected in the moderate levels at this time. We'll keep you up to date. Most of the real problem areas are in rural portions of our counties where overland flooding continues. 50s this evening, increasing clouds in both Grand Forks and in Fargo, Andrea. I'll have details on that rain and how much you can expect in your gauge and how much snow you won't have to shovel tomorrow here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
There's some good news for the flood fight this year. The North Dakota DOT says floodwaters have gone down along I-29 in the Northern Valley. Previously, 20 miles north of Grand Forks, floodwaters covered parts of I-29. The DOT just put up some barriers to keep waters out. Officials say they expect both lanes will be open soon. The crowded Democratic presidential field is fanning out across America this holiday week, trying to build support. Along with targeting the traditional early voting states, candidates are also paying attention to delegate-rich states later in the primary calendar. Beto O'Rourke has spent time this week in North Carolina and Virginia, where he assailed President Trump's rhetoric and criticism of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. He also noted that on the 12th anniversary of the Virginia Tech mass shooting, neither the state nor America has universal gun background checks. Amy Klobuchar pitched creating a public health care option as a way of expanding health coverage.
Medicare is a very important part of our healthcare system, and I think we can look at expanding it, and we should. And one of the things that I put forward is this public option idea, which you could do with Medicare, and you can do it with Medicaid.
The Democratic field grew by 2 candidates on Sunday as Pete Buttigieg and Congressman Eric Swalwell made their candidacies official. Some of the Notre Dame artifacts saved from the blaze were moved from City Hall today to a place where they can be restored. The Paris mayor tweeted a video of artifacts wrapped in protective foam sheets being loaded into a truck. The artifacts will be dehumidified, protected, and eventually restored. The French culture minister said earlier today that the cathedral's greatest paintings would be removed starting on Friday. Stick with us here on Valley News Live as we'll have local reaction from the Notre Dame Cathedral fire tonight on Valley News Live at 6. Drivers who take Main Avenue as part of their daily routine are now having to find a new route. The city of Fargo will begin construction on Main Avenue starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. 2nd Street South and 4th Street South is the first stretch of roadway that will be blocked off. Northern Pacific Avenue is the main detour for drivers during this time of construction. And while this project will take 2 years to complete, the city says it's time for a makeover.
The infrastructure is worn out. This is the first part of town that really developed, so some of the underground pipes are over 100 years old. And the sidewalks and the road surface is really in time to be totally redone.
The city of Fargo says the first phase of construction should be completed by mid-October. The second phase will begin in the spring of 2020, with the entire project expected to be complete by the fall of that year. Many of us know good sleep can be hard to get, but a new study says some of our ideas about sleep are all wrong. Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz has more to wake us up to the facts.
Are you getting enough sleep? A new study sets us straight on what we think we know about catching Z's. How much sleep do you get every night?
It might be 5 hours of sleep. Some nights it might be 8 or 9.
Many of us know 5 hours of sleep isn't great. The National Institutes of Health says a lack of good sleep can lead to anything from heart disease to diabetes. But did you know too much sleep can also cause problems? Researchers at NYU pored over thousands of websites to dispel some common sleep myths. This one surprised me. Could you never have too much sleep?
You can.
That's Ben Enney, a sales manager at Fargo's Comfort King. Getting good sleep is literally his business.
Too much sleep, it can be just as counterproductive as not enough.
And what about snoring? Not so harmless, says the study. Do you snore?
She snores, but to my knowledge, she hasn't said anything about me snoring.
He tells me I do, but I don't believe him.
According to the Mayo Clinic, snoring is a symptom of sleep apnea, where breathing stops and starts. Are you a snooze button hitter?
Oh, chronic, yes. Yes, it's my favorite button.
I am too, but this study says we shouldn't be.
When you wake up and you come out of your REM sleep, if you go back into it, it basically starts you over again. They keep trying to restart that REM sleep.
And one more myth, staying in bed to try to fall asleep.
Experts say if you find yourself wide awake in bed for more than 15 minutes, you should get up and do some restful activity.
Otherwise, you could associate your bed with insomnia. In Fargo, Rose Iskowitz, Valley News Live.
To read more on debunking some of these perceptions, head to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story. Walmart